I didn't open the door. Someone knocked on my door. At a normal hour. Not late, not early. I wasn't expecting anyone. I looked through the peephole. A stranger. He stood there like he already knew I was home. He didn't knock again. He didn't ring twice. He just waited. I didn't feel fear. I felt anger. Because it meant something simple, something precise. Somewhere, at some point, I stayed too long enough to be remembered. I didn't open the door. After a few minutes, he left, calm, unhurried. I told myself that was the end. I was wrong. After that night, I stayed behind the door, not because I was waiting, because I was listening. The building sounded normal. Footsteps, a door closing somewhere, an elevator moving. Everything was exactly how it should be. That was supposed to calm me down. I locked the door, then checked it again. Windows, slowly, carefully, like it was the first time. I told myself it was nothing strange. People knock on the wrong doors. Couriers wait. Strangers don't always mean danger. I repeated it until the words lost their weight. That night, I woke up to every sound. Not suddenly. I just opened my eyes, listened, and tried to fall asleep again. In the morning, I left earlier than usual. Not because I was in a hurry, because I didn't want to leave later. I watched people more closely, not looking for someone, looking for something familiar. I found nothing, and that gave me a strange feeling, relief, like it was really over. That was the moment I allowed myself to think, maybe I overreacted. And if nothing else happened, I would forget about the knock. I didn't know yet. Sometimes nothing happened is just a pause. The next day, I saw him again, not near my building, somewhere I go all the time. That's when it became clear. This wasn't coincidence. This was a result. The following morning, I left home earlier. The stairwell was quiet, too quiet. Near my door, something was on the floor. Not a package, not an ad, a piece of paper, folded in half. No threats, no names, just one sentence. You were busy yesterday. No signature. I stood there, staring at it longer than I should have, because now it meant something else. It meant he didn't just come by. He waited. I didn't take the paper. I left it there, but the feeling came with me anyway. All day I checked space before entering it, not out of fear, out of anger, because now I knew for sure. This wasn't contact anymore. This was presence. After the note, nothing happened, and that was the hardest part. Days passed normally. Work, road, store, no messages, no waiting. I kept checking my phone, even when it stayed silent, especially when it stayed silent. I was angry at myself for the tension, for the attention, for not being able to forget. I told myself, it's just paper, just a sentence, just someone's stupid joke. Sometimes I almost believed it, moments when I laughed, when life felt normal again. Then I came home and listened to footsteps, to the elevator, to the silence behind the door. I wasn't afraid of something specific. I was tired of waiting, because waiting without events eats you slowly. At some point, I thought, if he never shows up again, then it was all in my head. For a moment, I believed that. 2 days later, I changed my route. Just one block. I didn't look back, but I knew when it happened, because someone mentioned my time before I said it. Not out loud, in a message. No name, no number. You're usually here around this time. I didn't reply. I deleted it and immediately regretted it. Because you can delete words, not knowledge. That same day, I came home later and noticed a light in the building across the street. It turned on the exact moment I entered. I couldn't prove anything, but I didn't need to anymore, because it meant one thing. This wasn't guessing. This was checking. This wasn't coincidence. This was observation. After that, I stopped moving the way I used to. Not all at once, not sharply. First, I left a few minutes later, then earlier. I changed timing not because I was scared, but because I didn't want to be predictable. I started entering places I never used to enter, staying inside longer than necessary. Waiting. Not for him. For the moment I could leave without thinking about who was watching. I stopped using headphones. Music made it harder to hear space. Every reflection became useful. Store windows, car glass. Not to find him, just to check. That's the real consequence, not fear. Adjustment. Gradually, it got easier. Not because anything stopped, but because I adapted. The new routes felt normal. The new timing stopped bothering me. I wasn't reacting to every sound anymore. I didn't flinch. I didn't automatically look over my shoulder. I started thinking, maybe I handled it. Maybe caution worked. Maybe if you don't let yourself be read, interest fades. I even felt a little embarrassed about how far this had gone in my head. I told myself something simple. Everything that could happen already did, and if nothing was happening now, then nothing would. That day I took my usual route. No pauses, no detours, no backup plan. I just wanted to go home. And I was almost sure it was over. Near the entrance to my building, something was on the ground. My key. One of them. The one I lost days earlier. I knew exactly where I had dropped it, and it wasn't here. I stopped. And for the first time, I allowed myself the thought I had been avoiding. If the key is here, where was it before this? I didn't go inside. I stood there looking at the door longer than I should have, imagining that someone might already be inside. I stepped away from the entrance. I called a friend. I said I just needed to stay somewhere else for the night. I didn't explain why. That night, my body never understood that we were safe. At my friend's place, it was warm. Kitchen light, a kettle, normal sounds. I nodded when she talked. I heard the words. I didn't listen. I thought about doors, about locks, about how easy they are to open. I told myself I was safe. My body disagreed. In the dark, I counted sounds. Footsteps, pipes, wind. Every sound felt too sharp. I thought about the key, not how it came back, but how long it wasn't with me. Who held it? And what else could be learned in that time? I was afraid to fall asleep, like sleep meant losing control. Closer to morning, I understood something clearly. I wasn't afraid someone would come there. I was afraid to go back. Because home isn't walls. It's the moment you lock the door and exhale. And I couldn't do that anymore. When it got light, I didn't rush. I just knew, if I go back and try to live the same way, this won't end. I returned during the day. I stood in front of the door for a long time, not because I was scared, but because I knew this would be the last time I stood here like it was home. Inside, nothing was broken, nothing was missing, I didn't look for signs. I didn't check locks. I just looked at things that could no longer protect me. I packed only what mattered and stopped because I realized if I leave now, I won't come back to this version of myself. I left the key on the table, on purpose, not as a message, as a boundary. I closed the door, and for the first time, I didn't look back. I moved that same night, not far, but far enough. I don't know if he ever came back. Maybe. But it doesn't matter now. He only knew the life I left behind, not the one I started after. I didn't win. I lost something. But sometimes, that's the only way to walk away alive. I stayed too long. And that's why I left without saying goodbye. Before it happens.